Thomas, welcome. If we could just start, what is the link? It seems to be an ever increasing link between business and mathematical sciences.
So business looks at is driven by innovation, right? So what is innovation? It's technology, and technology seems to be speeding up, right? We know that's happening, and if we can understand how technology works, if we can understand the sort of mathematical structure behind it, then we can understand why it's speeding up, speed it up more, and influence the direction in which it grows.
Tell me more, if you would, about the work that you're doing at the London Institute for Mathematical Sciences and how that relates to business.
So we work in a bunch of things, ranging from string theory, which is a theory of everything, to artificial intelligence, of new discoveries, but also something called the theory of human enterprise. In particular, we've looked at the mathematical structure of innovation, of how technologies work. And a technology, and the simplest definition of a technology is comes from Brian Arthur at the Santa Fe Institute. A technology is a combination of more primitive technologies, which harnesses the scientific principle. And then when that technology it becomes useful and becomes recognized, it becomes a building block for even more advanced technologies, like a touch screen. A touch screen is a complex technology, but eventually people think, oh, I've got a touch screen. That's one of my building blocks. I got this over here. I'll combine those. So technology has this recursive structure. Primitive ones make more complex ones, just make yet more complex ones. And it's that recursive structure that we can understand mathematically.
Fantastic. Tell me, if you would, about your collaboration with BCG Henderson Institute and particularly around innovation.
So that came about several years ago when I got an email from someone called Martin Reeves. He said, look, is innovation like evolution, or is it something different all its own? And we met and started thinking about that, started working on it. And we found, well, actually, innovation and evolution are different things. Innovation doesn't imitate biology, how life advances. It has its own sort of mathematical structure. And we dug into that, and it's quite beautiful, the mathematics behind it. And in fact, we found that you can understand what the factors are that speed it up, and you can look to different sectors and influence how different sectors grow relative to others.
How is that, and bear with me in layman's terms here, how is that applicable in the real world, what you've been discovering?
So, a lot of people think that the future happens to us. But Peter Thiel said at a recent debate, he says, but you and I are creating it right now. And, the direction that technology takes isn't just something, like we're watching the movie, we're actors in the movie. So, the technologies that we push, the way that we think of how of the modules that make up, the ones that we promote, have a profound effect on the future of technology. So, small choices we make now get amplified as technologies, give birth to new technologies.
You've also been looking at AI-assisted discoveries. Tell me about discovery. Tell me about that.
So a lot of people. So first of all, I'm a great AI skeptic. So in general, I think AI
Explain.
is like. Well, I think, what's amazing about AI is not how much it's done, is how little it's done, right? I mean, basically AI right now is automated curve fitting. But here's where I think it's going to make its first steps in the creative world. So this is something a lot of people think about. Well, AI is not creative. It's not really creative, right? And maybe it can, construct silly poems. But I think counterintuitively, the first time we're going to see creative AI is in mathematics and theoretical physics. Now, you may think that's nuts, but there are two reasons for that. Well, the main reason is that, and this is a mad thing, that in mathematics, there are no coincidences. And I mean, there are no false positives, there are no false negatives. Whereas in ordinary life, there are all sorts of false positives. Like, is this gene connected to that disease, or is that just a fluke? So there are no flukes in theoretical physics and mathematics. So AI, which is really good at detecting patterns, when it detects those patterns have meaning.
And that's creative?
Well, I mean, some people would say pure mathematics is the height of human creativity, right? Like, how do we form a new conjecture? How did Gauss prove the density of the prime numbers, right? Well, there's a lot of new properties of the mathematical world and the physics world, right? I mean, physics is broken. We're missing big parts of it. Who's going to find those new things? Where are those new conjectures, those new ideas going to come from? And AI can guide us, right? It can't do it for us, but it can guide us in the right direction. So we sometimes call this AI-assisted discovery. And this is something that the Bruce Henderson Institute has supported. We've had, we've actually, our group in London is leading the world in AI-assisted conjecture formation.
Thomas, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.